Well, hello and welcome once again to another My Southern Exposure. I'm Joseph Manuel Ovello, your feisty host, and today is Monday, February 15th, 2021. I don't know why I had to look to know what year it was. That's pretty stupid, to be honest with you. But it's definitely been a rough first 45 days, that's for sure. I want to welcome everyone at home, and I'm going to toss it over to the best co-host in the world, Raji Narayan Singh, so you can do your salutations.
Oh my goodness. Well, flattery will get you everywhere, almost. Let me stop being so naughty. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of My Southern Exposure. And I don't have any panties on, everyone, so this is going to be a show to remember. You're going to really see the exposure of this show. Let me stop. I do. I'm being a good girl. I promise, I promise, I promise. But we have a lot of juicy topics to talk about. And I guess we should probably dive in, don't you think?
I definitely think we should dive in. That's for sure.
Dive in like the boys do me. Now let me start.
So I forgot to say one of the most important parts, season number 3, episode number 5. I don't know how I missed it. Episode number 5, season 3, with close to 92,000 total views from all social media platforms as well as the website. And I want to thank all of our viewers at home. I really do want to reach out to you personally and say that if you have any interest in being a guest on the show, we would love to have you. It doesn't matter what city you live in, anywhere across the United States, we can figure out how to get you on the show for at least 10-15 minutes to share a little bit about your personal experience being in the LGBTQ+A community, because I think there's a lot of people out there who have interesting stories, and that's the least that we can do until we actually get the trifecta, the third co-host, lined up. So I just want to reach out to everybody. Don't forget to contact me, Joseph at mysouthernexposure.site, Raji at mysouthernexposure.site also as well. And please visit our website directly, www.mysouthernexposure.site, and like, subscribe, all of that jazz, because we really want you to go directly to the website. Social media is a great platform, but we do want people to start to turn to us directly instead of having to use social media. All right, so let's dive right on in. It's President's Day, and this is the first President's Day, to be honest with you, that I'm happy about. I feel proud of the current president, and I haven't felt proud of a president since Bill Clinton. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but I liked him. And then before that, oddly enough, George Bush, the first one, I liked.
You liked him, yeah.
I liked him.
I actually liked him too, yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, it was the first presidential election that I was able to vote in at the age of 18. And well, now you all know how old I am, but we talk about it enough anyways. But I have a really good contract with the guy upstairs. That's why all this beauty still looks so tight and normal and supple, with no maintenance done. So what do you think about the first part of this journey with the new one?
Well, okay, so first of all, this weekend was quite eventful. Friday was the Chinese New Year's. It's the New Year's, I should say the year of the ox. And, just because they call it Chinese New Year's, it's not just the Chinese that celebrate it. It's the the lunar year. And it's celebrated by a lot of Asian people from a lot of different Asian countries. So um, Happy New Year's to all of our people that celebrate the Chinese New Year's. And Also, Sunday was Valentine's Day. So I hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. Either you had someone to cozy up to, or you cozy up to yourself, honey, and love yourself. Because you know what? If you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. So self-love is so powerful. And so anyway, yeah, we had that. And then today, President's Day. So I think, I'm impressed by so far what Biden and Kamala Harris, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are doing, and the different people that they've appointed to positions at the White House. You can see he's really making an effort to be diverse, very diverse with his team. I'm happy about them focusing on this next stimulus uh, bill, which would be really, 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 let me cross everything, really, really, really nice. And so, what kind of was distracting this past week was, of course, the hearings for former President Trump. He was impeached for the second time. Of course, he was acquitted. I said that last week. I knew he wasn't going to be found guilty. They acquitted him. A lot of people voted to find him guilty. Even there were 7 Republicans, if I'm not mistaken. But, still not enough. So anyway, I'm sure we'll be hearing more from him down the road. Who knows what he has up his sleeves. But, it's what's so appalling to me, and I get so angry, is someone like you and I, Joseph, can post something on one of the social media platforms, and they want to pull it down and call it offensive. Meanwhile, we had the president of the United States saying all kind of offensive shit. And so, it took them a while to block any. It was only at the tail end of his presidency that he was banned from all these platforms. But for the most part, he was saying whatever the hell he wanted to say. So, it is not a fair world. It's not equal. There's no, I would say, consistent equity. And yeah, so anyway, to answer your question, sorry, I went around the bush. So far, so good. I'm happy. I want to see what's going to play out in the next 3 weeks or so with the stimulus package. So let's see how that goes.
From what I understand, the next stimulus package is, and apologize for my but I'm trying to look at my calendar because I write stuff down. They already have it pushing through. It's supposed to be getting finalized this week. And for people like yourself and myself who they already have the information for, the last one happened, which I didn't even expect that it was done. And then it was like 3 days later, there was the deposit. So I presume that before the end of the month, it will happen based off of that timetable. And the good thing about it is that we don't need any Republicans to approve this. This is a done deal. You can't stop it. So, and they want to hem and haw about this and about that and spending and this and that. You didn't have no problem with, $200 million of air flights each time to go down to Mar-a-Lago. So, you know what? I got 2 letters for you, an F and a U, if you don't like it. So it's just so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical. I'm sorry. It's so hypocritical. You're going to complain about $1.9 trillion.
Okay, yeah.
But you approved the first one, and some people who were making $125,000 a year were getting stimulus the first round. Oh, but that's fine. Let's just push that through. And then the second one, then they lowered it to, I think, 60,000.
Yeah.
So now they're pushing it back up to 125,000 again, which I think is kind of fair. We discussed it the last time. Some people who make, quote unquote, $125,000 a year have slowly gotten their life to that level, and they're barely getting by. It sounds silly to say that, but some of those people possibly are barely getting by. So if that is the case, then great. But if you're going to go out and buy a brand new Lamborghini or a brand new boat, no, honey. No. That's supposed to be, or, just decide to go to a new rally at the new administration offices of the orange-faced monster in Florida. I think that that's a huge waste of money to give that to them. There's a lot of people out there who really, truly need it. I definitely need it. You definitely need it. A lot of people in our community need it, and we're going to use it wisely. We're not going to buy a flat screen TV with that money. We're going to hold on to it, pay our electric, pay our rent, pay our bill, car payment, car insurance, food, maybe buy something that we can try to plan ahead for like the next problem, because it's problem after problem after problem lately. So the only way that we're going to make it through it is if we start to think the long term, because a lot of it's pieces and parts and everything else, but there's so much wasteful spending. And actually it brings me to our first story. I want to try to skirt and stay away from the orange-faced monster. So I'm not going to go down that path like I had been before. But I've got plenty of nasty, dirty stuff for that person, that's for sure. And I don't care if you fucking like it or not, dude. So anyways, talking about waste, I had a private conversation with you earlier, and myself and my partner, when we take our bike rides and we're just in the neighborhood, in the car, not going out to the nightclubs, not going out to the bars, not going out to eat at a restaurant, sitting on the side of the curb, but just going about our day doing what is necessary. We have noticed for over a year, ironically, about right when COVID started in March of last year, that when we get to the bridge, when you enter into Wilton Manors going north on 4th Avenue, and then up to, and it stops, dead stops at 5 Points, which is basically the convergence of all the streets. You know which ones I'm talking about. It's about 2 miles. I think maybe about 2 miles from point A to point B. There are approximately, I've counted, because I have this obsessive compulsive thing where I count things over and over again. I think there's approximately 250 light posts.
Oh.
Okay, like 125 on one side, 125 on the other side. Every single light is on all day, all night. Granted, they're LED lights, so they don't take much electricity. However, it's the middle of the fucking day. Why are those lights on, and who is paying for them? I want to know this, because in the time where we are right now, and people are complaining about spending money to put money in people's pockets and bickering about if you're Republican or Democrat, that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
If the city of Wilton Manors, which is technically part of Fort Lauderdale, can go ahead and leave the lights on all day, who's paying for it? Are the taxpayers of Wilton Manors paying for it? Is it the taxpayers of Fort Lauderdale paying for it? And if it's been happening this long, who is responsible for this misstep? I don't know how much that bill would be, but I'm guessing it's probably a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And then on the flip side, when we come down Dixie Highway, down Dixie Highway, and then then we make our right, and on 13th Street, which is Fort Lauderdale, all the way to 4th Avenue, same exact thing from Dixie Highway, and all the way from Dixie Highway all the way to 15th Avenue. The lights are on all day and night.
Wow.
I'm going to work on this and come to the bottom of this story, because I think this would be a very good investigative story. And I don't care who I piss off. If you don't like it, tough shit. You're only not going to like it because you're making some money off of it or doing something criminal. And if you're doing something criminal, I don't care who the fuck you are. So what do you think about that? Because I talked with you about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but when people are complaining about wasteful spending, it's okay if the wasteful spending is on the people at the Capitol or in positions of power, or if the cities are making money hand over fist. But then who is that money coming from? You and me.
Right. Well, okay, so I never noticed it. Honestly, I didn't. And when you told me about it, I felt like, wow, that's kind of odd that they wouldn't have the lights turn off during the day. I mean, I don't know, unless there is some absolute good reason for it, and it might be. We don't know how things generate or work throughout this. I mean, at least I don't know. I'm not up on that stuff. So, I mean, but if not, why wouldn't they have it like where daytime hits, the lights go off? I don't understand it, because to me it seems like you're spending extra money, even though they're LED, you said, right? Yeah.
Right.
Spending extra money for no good reason. So it might be something you may want to look into. I mean,
oh, honey, sister, I'm definitely going to look into it. Ironically, each one of those lights were just recently replaced. They used to be incandescent lights, and now they're just all LED lights. Okay. It took, I think, 4 months or 5 months for them to do it, that they did replace all of those lights. I can understand what you're saying, and I hadn't thought about it the way that you just said it, and you might have a good point. Maybe it's some computer thing where they forgot to turn it on and off, like some person. But that person's job that they're getting paid by the city to do should be partially to minimize costs and expenses.
Yeah.
Not make them balloon up and then wasting energy, especially right now with so many people that are having problems with electricity. They can't pay their bills. We have power outages, power surges, all of these things that are going on. To have that like that, that's not acceptable at all. So I am going to look into it. That's for sure. I definitely am going to look into it. And I will get to the bottom of the story. So, and if you're going to be listening to the story and you live in Wilton Manors or you live in Fort Lauderdale and you work for the city, I'm not going to say the names of the people who should have taken care of this yet, even though I know who they are. I'm going to give you an opportunity to reach out to me directly, joseph@mysouthernexposure.site, because you have to answer some hard questions. I'm not going to give you some easy questions just so you look good and have a nice soundbite. So yeah, we need to know why that waste is going on. It needs to be fixed, and then we need to figure out how we can make certain that it doesn't happen again. And if it's happening here, doesn't that mean it's probably happening in other places?
Yeah, it probably does. But I'm curious to hear their explanation. I really am, because from the outside looking in, I'm like thinking, well, why wouldn't you turn the lights off? But I'm interested to hear what they say.
Well, I'm definitely going to work on it. That's for sure. I'm definitely going to work on it. So if somebody knows the people who can answer the question, please forward this message, this posting, this video to them. I'm not going to automatically say that I think you're doing a horrible job and you should be fired. I mean, oh, well, technically, I guess I just did, but I mean, clearly at this point, anyone can say anything. So, and not be held responsible, because that precedent was set. on Friday, that you can say anything and do anything and you don't get in trouble. So, okay, you all opened up Pandora's box, and my name is not Pandora, but I definitely have lots of boxes, that's for sure. So we will open up each box one at a time and figure out what to do to use that precedence for us to be able to do what we need to do. And it's hypocritical that you and I have been censored before doing postings, and that some people can say and do whatever they want. And nothing that you've ever done has caused death or injury. Nothing that I've ever done has caused death or injury. So that's about that. I don't want to talk about the Orange Monster. I want to move forward. This Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. That's the next holiday coming up. I believe that is for the Roman Catholics. Is that correct?
Well, I would say for Christians in general, like, yeah, I think it's it's basically a Christian holiday because right now, because of COVID, there's not much carnival going on. But right now, if there wasn't COVID, Trinidad would be having their big carnival. Brazil would be having their humongous carnival, and New Orleans would be having it because it's the Monday and Tuesday before the Ash Wednesday. So, and then, with Christians, and I think it varies to the degree of what.
Sorry.
I don't think God is happy right now, though.
No, I knocked over a printer cartridge. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. No, but I think it varies to the degree that I guess I don't want to say celebrates, but I guess follows.
Observes.
That's right. Perfect. I was looking for that word. Thank you. Observes, Ash Wednesday, and then supposedly the 6 weeks leading up to Easter. Yeah.
So this is the beginning of that. And actually, I'm happy that you mentioned about New Orleans, because they did something that was very unique and interesting. I don't know, did you see it on the news? Because I want to talk about it. I think it was a really good thing. So they basically completely rethought the idea of New Orleans Mardi Gras. And it started from something as simple as a posting on social media. This young lady said, hey, we're not going, we're gonna, decorate the house. Is anyone else interested on the block? And it turned into the entire city of New Orleans is all decked out, where everyone decorated their houses. And instead of people going to a parade and all being in one spot at one time, now people take a walk, like their individual families, down the street separately from each other, and they take pictures. And the people who live there apparently like it better because it's slower. They're just with their family.
Yeah. And
all of the good that's coming from it. So did you see that? Do you see that story? And what do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's fabulous. I mean, isn't that really what life's about? Being innovative, and like you go with the flow and you kind of find new ways to do things. I mean, because life is ever changing. We human beings have a tendency to we like a schedule. We like things like an order and a format and all. But the reality is that as you live your life, things are always changing. And with this COVID, I think it was an opportunity for people to do things differently. I mean, look at this whole Zoom thing. Before COVID, a lot of people didn't use Zoom. Now, so many people are using it as a platform, us included. So I think it's fabulous. It's a great idea. Why not do that? And then people could still celebrate the Mardi Gras.
I think that it's something that should probably stick around personally. I
Yeah.
like it. I really do. I mean, I truly do. And then it could open itself up in a way that everybody in the entire United States could celebrate Mardi Gras.
Mhm.
It could. Like, I would decorate the house for Mardi Gras, our place, even though we live here. We do Christmas, we do Halloween, sometimes well, we decorate for every single holiday.
Oh,
So why don't we just get some Mardi Gras decorations and put them up? I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's a great idea. And especially that it started from something so simple.
and do the beads.
Oh, we'll have tons of beads. We'll
Yeah.
have tons of beads. I'll put a stripper pole out there with like some mannequin or something. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, but I like the idea that we are adapting and changing in a way. And because of this whole virus thing, I think it's forcing people to rethink and slow down, which I think things were going too fast for everybody personally. That's how I feel. I felt like everything was going too fast. And if the only one good thing can come from it, just like the show, there have been a lot of really good things that have happened because of the virus. There have been so many horrible things that have happened because of the virus, and it's not going to go away. We'll get into the virus numbers later. I wanted to talk about this, and then you also brought up something else, which made me think about something else because it was on the heels of Valentine's Day, and I forgot to mention it. There's actually 3 different things that I wanted to mention, but I want to circle back to another good thing besides Mardi Gras, because people reworked it and did something. Apparently now it's cool to date online. It's up 30% since last year. Online dating.
When you
Online dating. Like, let's say you go to a social platform and you and I meet, and I'm like, ooh, I want to hit that someday. And then you're like, ooh, I want to hit him someday. And then we start talking. And then eventually people started to communicate via video conference and have play dates safely away from each other.
Got it.
So now it's actually quote unquote cool, I guess, again, because it used to be. It had some negative stigma back in the late 90s and early 2000s where, you know, it was kind of a creepy thing if you do the online dating. You know what I mean? So, but now it's changed and people, it's 30% more.
Maybe in the straight world, honey, but trans people have been doing online dating forever. It's called trans porn. No, let me stop. It's called guys in Saudi Arabia and all through the Middle East and India and Pakistan who want trans, and they get online and they want to date, but they want the full kahuna, honey.
I'm happy that you have your panties on today. So,
but no. But seriously, I think that's interesting that it's
30% is a big change. That's a really big number. That it went up 30% since March of last year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, hey, why not? Why not? And I can imagine after the 3rd date what happens on those computer screens. But anyway, I'll keep it clean.
Well, I was just thinking about what I was like when I had those kind of dates.
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely were not PG. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The video dates when you meet someone and the messaging back and forth. Oh, Jesus, Lord.
Oi!
I'm going to have to say some prayers. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, maker of heaven and earth, please forgive me for all the horrible sexual things that I did in the past.
Hey, guess what? Sexuality is God, because none of us would be here if it weren't for 2 people that got together and had sex. So it's all how you look at it.
That is definitely absolutely correct, and I agree
Yeah,
with you.
two people had to come together. I mean, and it had to happen. Now,
Good usage of words, by the way.
thank you. Come together. That's if the guy is considerate. If not, then it's just a one-sided come. Oh, this is definitely not a PG show, you all. And that's why we love all of our adult viewers. Because
Yes.
we can be real and just be blunt and put it all out there. So we hope you love us, and I want to get all your wonderful comments.
Absolutely. And how would someone get a hold of you?
Oh, well, you can get me at Raji at mySouthernExposure.site.
I love the way that you said that.
Or you can comment under our videos too.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you watch it, but I can't remember. I think it's Regina King.
Love her.
I don't know if you know that actress, but I absolutely adore her.
227. Yeah, I love her.
Was she from 227?
She was.
I couldn't remember. She was a little kid.
Yeah,
right?
Kid. Yeah.
Because I was mentioning it to Rick, and I've talked with you about the show The Watchmen before. That it's a really good movie, and that it, like, the ending was like you wanted to keep going, like the ending of the first season.
Yeah.
She was on Saturday Night Live on Saturday, and she did such an amazing job. She was so funny. I mean, her monologue was absolutely hysterical. I did not, however, like the outfit she was wearing. It was quite atrocious.
Oh, I didn't.
I mean, it was horrible. It was the wrong color, the wrong length. She's got a really nice figure, and it was kind of like you put a green trash bag. It was kind of like she put a green trash bag with holes on herself.
Oh,
because it was like squared and it went straight down, and it was like 4 inches above the knee. And once you get to a certain age, I'm not judging, but I'm just saying no. So fashion police. Once
you get to a certain age, you shouldn't show your knees.
No, stop it. But besides the horrible outfit that she walked out with, she was so funny. All of her little bits that she did with people were so good. So I want to suggest to people that had not watched it to pull up Saturday Night Live from this past Saturday, the 13th. She did a really, really, really good job. And there are rumors that they are thinking about Watchmen season 2, but nothing is definite. So I'm hoping whoever's listening, if you can jingle whatever chains or do anything, pull some strings, whatever, please bring back Regina King in the Watchmen second season, because it is such a good story, and it so correlates with what we're going through right now, because there was white supremacy, aliens, weather, a whole bunch of stuff that was in that show. And it was so relevant and fun and entertaining and scary, and great actors and actresses and great special effects. So I'm hoping that they really do bring back that show. Just to put that out there. So you haven't seen it, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
SNL. Oh, that's what I do on Sunday mornings now. Okay. Sunday mornings I wake up and I just hit my little button. I go Saturday Night Live, and I'm like, I'll be sitting here, and I start cackling like a witch making a brew.
Wow.
Like full on crazy cackling from what I'm watching, and then Pretty Ricky comes out and is like I'm so loud, like you can't. I think probably the people across the street can hear me.
Yeah,
it's just so funny, but it seems like Saturday Night Live is getting better and better from my perspective. I suggest that everybody watch it. I think they will definitely enjoy it. Have you seen anything good that you want to share
Pretty Ricky.
besides that?
Well, I came across this Netflix. It's like a documentary, movie documentary called The Big Day, and it's about Indian weddings. And oh my God, well, I'm half Indian. My dad was half. My dad was South Asian, so I'm half Indian, and I know about Indian weddings because I went to them, a few times when I was growing up, different family members getting married. But let me tell you, these Indian weddings are like so elaborate. Oh my God. I mean, I'm talking about like thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But they're beautiful. And they feature the couple, and then they lead up to like the wedding and like the preparation and stuff that it takes, and then to the big day, the wedding day. And so I watched episode 1, and I'm kind of in that now. So I'm going to probably try and finish that this week. Yeah, so that's the latest on Netflix, because I have Netflix, y'all. So that's normally what I find my stuff on, is Netflix. And then there's another one. Oh, it's called Zaranga. It's about like the apes, and that I've always been really intrigued with the apes. I mean, because they're so much like us. I think they're like 98% of there's like only like 2% missing from what we have compared to them. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how they interact. I have a friend that actually went to Africa to visit, and did a tour with the apes. And he said when they were walking, they tell you don't ever look at the apes eye to eye. Like you don't like stare them in their face. You kind of look away. That's like a way of respect. But one of the adolescents, male ones, came behind my friend and slapped him on the back. And let me tell you, I crack up over it, but he had to go to the hospital, like, because, it like, the strength of and this was an adolescent. This wasn't even a full grown one. So he said, but he loved going and, having that experience with them. It was really good. He did say you could smell them a mile away. Because what's so funny? You don't really think about that. But yeah, they never bathe. I mean, and I said, really? I said, was it bad? He said, yeah, it was like garbage and like the toilet and all kinds of stuff, all mixed up in grass and all the different scents. But he said he was happy that he had that experience, because it was very, very interesting. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you bring up that. Oh, go ahead.
No. So that's another one I'm watching on Netflix. Varanga or Zaranga. I'll find out the name next week and I'll let you know. But if you put in apes on the search, it'll pop up. If you put in like apes under search, that movie will pop up. So what were you gonna say?
It's interesting that you're talking about travel, because that kind of segues into one thing that I was going to do later, but I want to bring it up now. And I want to circle back to education as well after we're done with that, because they're both COVID related stories. And I'm just going to give some harsh numbers, but we have to address them because they're not going down, they're going up. Some of them are going down, but the the mortality rate is going up. So with travel, I've never left the United States except to go to Canada, like drive to Canada. So I don't think that I would ever. I don't like the idea of flying over water for such a long period of time. Like, that seems really scary to me. Like going to Hawaii or Europe, or South Africa, or I don't know, Australia. The idea of flying and not being able to see land,
Yeah.
that is absolutely horrifying to me. Like, I don't think that I would be able to do it, but I think it's amazing that he went there. But talking about flying specifically, because he had to fly to get there, I would presume.
Yeah.
Now there are supposedly, I believe it's United Airlines or American Airlines is now creating a new standard. I don't remember which one, and I apologize for not knowing which one it is, but it was on the news just today. They came out with a new standard of that you can get a rapid test there at the airport, and then you get your PRC or your antigen test within 15 minutes, and then you can fly.
Oh, wow.
Which right there at the airport, and they're doing a quote unquote beta test, like a test. So they're doing Los Angeles, New York City, San Francisco, I think maybe Chicago. Don't put my foot to the fire if I didn't get it correctly. But the bottom question that I'm trying to get to, no pun intended, the bottom question that I'm trying to get to is, to get your response to it, what do you think about that, having such a quick test that it's not 100% accurate, and then the person's going to hop on the plane and travel, and then potentially spread whatever is wrong with them, considering that now we have 7 different variants, supposedly 7 different variants of the coronavirus, because it keeps changing and adapting. So what do you think about the idea of it being a quick test for 15, it takes 15 minutes, you go to the airport, you get your test, here's a piece of paper, get on the plane, go, and let's say that the test was wrong. It might say that you can't travel, or it might say that you can. Because let's say half of the tests are accurate and half of the tests are wrong.
Yeah.
What do you think about that whole idea of the rapid test and having it accessible at the airport? It seems like it's kind of seems and sounds like a good thing, but by the same token, aren't you bringing a whole bunch of people who might be sick into a concentrated area?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, so the longest flight I've ever been on was 10 hours. And I tell you, when I was younger, I started flying when I was 2 years old. My mom, with my mom. And as a kid, I didn't really think much about it. I have to admit, as an adult, when I fly, I'm a lot more fearful now, because when you're a kid, you're kind of like, you're not really thinking about that stuff really, but like as an adult, I mean, God, and I'll tell you, after like 4 hours on a plane now, I am like going dry, like I'm ready to get the hell off of the plane. Like 4 hours is kind of like my max. When I was going back and forth to California, sometimes it would be like a 6-hour flight. So after the 4th hour, I'm like, oh God, but anyway, and it is something to think. Like, I went to Europe over the waters, when I was younger, and that was a 10-hour flight. And I'll tell you, it is a long flight, and like you're thinking, oh my God, like you're in this tube basically, which is like a little city up in the air, because it's like the group of people in this encased tube that flies, that's taking you from point A to point B. So it is really something to think about. It's a wonderful thing in the sense that it really connected more of the world. Like before computers were around, that was the thing that really connected our world. People being able to travel more accessibly, as opposed to like taking a ship, like getting on a boat. So as far as the testing is concerned, oh, and by the way, I remember being 2 years old and on that plane. I remember that shit. And I was looking out the window like, oh my God. Yeah, that's so funny how we remember certain things, So anyway, back to the question. Okay, so this is the thing. I think that if they're doing the test at the airport, that doesn't, I mean, people still have to wear their mask and do the social distancing regardless, because, like you said, some of those tests could be false negatives. And then you have this infected person on the plane. But on the other hand, it's like it makes it convenient for the traveler because and it doesn't surprise me. Come on, we live in a fast food world. So, it was initially 72 hours or 48 hours you had to be tested before you could fly. And of course, people were going to find a way to do it faster where you could come to the airport, get it done, get on the plane and go. Because that's the world we live in now. Everything is hurry, 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 quick, 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 fast food, that sort of thing. So it doesn't surprise me. I don't know. There's a part of me that, yes, I worry and I get concerned about it. But then there's the other side. It's like, all right, don't like fixate on it too much because like you'll drive yourself crazy. And so that's why, like, yeah, I know we have these different variants. I know that we're not at the end of the tunnel yet. I know all of that. And that's why I try to be safe by wearing my mask and doing social distancing. But on the other side of it, it's like, I'm not going to drive myself crazy over it. I just can't do it. I can't sit here. I could do it, but I choose not to. I'm not going to sit here and like just get angry and upset. And, hey, let's hope we made it through this year. I'm hoping that, that's a good sign and I'll be able to make it the rest of the way. So
no, that makes sense. And it's interesting that you say it that way because that is important to be able to keep it in check because it's easy for you to let your mind just go down, quote unquote, the rabbit hole and automatically think the worst. But it's also by the same token, I should say, that we can't not acknowledge the speed of things, that things are happening too quickly. And I don't really see a way for us to get away from this problem, probably ever, unless we slow things down. Things have to slow down because what has been happening is not working at all. So I get it. I understand it. I completely agree with you with not fixating on it, but to just subscribe into the idea that someone else is figuring out the problem and everything's going to be all right. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. I mean, it's not. Just to use for an example, there was a family, it was 10 adults and 10 children. They didn't want to wear their masks. They got thrown off a flight and they got really mad. I presume if it was 10 adults, maybe 5 Karens and 5 Darrens, and then 10 children that believe Karen and Darren are correct with everything that they say. So they felt like it was okay to board the flight and they didn't want to wear the mask, and then they got upset and they turned it around. So it's if you don't want to wear a mask, fine, drive your happy ass wherever you're going.
Yeah.
Simple answer.
Yeah.
You don't have to take a flight. Get in your car and drive. Same thing with the train, same thing with the bus, same thing with all that other stuff. Any other public form of transportation. Don't get mad if you get into, I don't want to name the ones because I have a competing one. Don't get into a rideshare service vehicle and get mad if the driver says, put on your mask.
Yeah.
Like, don't get upset about that. Like that's it's not safe. It's a very enclosed, confined space. So I like the idea that we're working through it, but I don't see a way of us working through it in any short time frame unless we start to think about people before profits. It comes right back to that. And that's part of my slogan, part of the slogan for the show. We have to put people before profits. If we only think about money, we're never going to make progress as human beings. I don't think. People will make money. People will make lots of money if they continue to put profit before people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what's going to happen if there are no people left? So how's that going to work out? It's not going to work out too well, which I'm going to segue into a new topic, because talking about people, specifically just today, ironically, on the same day that he was born, Prince Harry, is that the redhead?
Yeah.
Is the redhead? Yeah.
Yeah.
The ginger, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced that she is pregnant again because she had the miscarriage over the summer.
Right.
Apparently. So now that's the second child that they're having. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. And it falls on the heels of her getting a big win against the tabloids in England, where she won. So I think it's great that they got held responsible for releasing a private letter between her and her father that was a totally personal thing. They didn't get any permission from her, and so they are now expecting a child. So I think that's definitely a good thing. I don't know if you saw the story, but talking about people, and that happened today, which ironically, Princess Diana also did the exact same thing on the exact same day.
Wow.
Yes, she announced it on the exact same day that she was pregnant.
Oh my
with
God.
him.
That seems kind of serendipitous, you know? I think that's amazing. Yeah. And you know, she seems like she's far along, because I saw the baby bump. So, because I would have been kind of nervous having the miscarriage before and then announcing too soon. So it seems like they waited long enough. But yeah, that's great. I mean, congratulations to them. Baby number 2, honey. I wonder where this baby comes in line. Like, you know,
9, number 9.
9, okay.
Number 9. He's number 9 for the throne. And actually, it brought up the question, and I was interested in this, and I want to get your perspective on it. Because the baby is going to possibly be born here in the United States, to parents that were born in another country, apparently it's dual citizenship. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can. If one parent is from another country, you can apply for dual citizenship. So
I guess it's automatic, is what it sounded like.
it depends on the country. Probably England is automatic. I don't have dual citizenship with Trinidad, but I could have applied for it because my father was born there. So I could have applied for it because he was from there, but I never did. But I think it just depends on the country.
And then the other interesting thing that the reporter brought up is that because the child will likely be born here in the United States, that they would be eligible to be the president of the United States as well.
Yeah.
As being the ruler, the king or queen of England.
I know.
I don't think that's ever happened before. Has that?
I don't think so. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. I mean, can you imagine
Please, because I want to hear what you're going to say, because my mind.
Because really, I mean, think about it. Because he's born here in America, that makes him a U.S. citizen. And in order to be president of the United States, you have to be an American. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a natural born citizen. So it would be interesting. The thing is, he's so far down. He's 9 in line. So the chances of him being king, I think, are very. I think actually he has a better chance of being president of the U.S. than King of England. Yeah,
That's exactly where my mind went. Is that I think he has a better chance, or she has a better chance, because I don't know if we know the sex yet. To be the king. I mean, to be the president of the United States instead of the king or queen of England. Because of being 9 down the ramp. But with the way things are going nowadays, who knows? I mean, seriously.
It wouldn't surprise me, I tell you. Can you imagine if he ended up being king and also president? But that might be a conflict of interest there. But anyway, yeah.
You know what? Actually, that brings me to my point, because I think that would be possible.
Yeah.
That would totally be possible. And originally, the United States was owned by England, by the British, technically.
Yeah.
So it would be possible. There might be something more at play than you or I are completely thinking about, or the rest of the people, I think. Yeah. I don't know exactly what is at play, but I know that people who are smart and they keep popping up in certain positions and doing things, like who wouldn't want to vote for the son of the kid whose mother was murdered because she was pregnant with another child, like Princess Diana, murdered. She basically was murdered in her car by the paparazzi because she was a commoner. And now we have a second commoner, Meghan Markle, who marries that son. And they completely disconnected from the royal family, even though they're acknowledged. I mean, you can't get much further away than the West Coast from England. I don't know how much further away you can get. Like, unless you move to the moon. I mean, seriously. Like, how much more can you tell your family? I don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm going to move to Uranus.
I know. I mean, to live on the West Coast, yeah, you're right.
That's like that. Like, like, if it was like East Coast, I'd be like, they just needed a little space, but they're.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But talking about people and life and all that kind of stuff, I just wanted to bring that up. And then in addition to that,
You know, I wonder, there was probably a lot that went on behind the scenes for them to make that decision. You know, because they were first tier royals, and for them to make that decision to step away, it must have been a lot of crap going on behind the scenes. And also, I think Meghan wanted to be, and even Harry in a way, they wanted to probably be free to do other things, like work on projects. Like, you know, Meghan is an actress, and you know, they probably wanted to like be able. Look where they moved Hollywood. You know, like to California, so they're right there in the mix. And I heard they have a lot of like things in the works. So I think that was another reason too. But anyway, yeah. So go ahead. That just came to my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they did the right thing personally for them, because no matter how much money your family has, it doesn't matter if you can't make your own money.
Yeah,
that's the way that makes sense to me. I mean, I like making my own money, just like you like making your own money. You don't want somebody to pay your bills for you. I mean, no one does. You want to be able to be independent, make your own money, and do your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want to accept money from your family members. I don't want to do that for mine. I want to be able to be independent and do my own thing. So I can totally understand like someone like Harry and Megan that are capable of doing their own thing, that they're going to and want to do their own thing. I think it's respectable. And I think anyone who shames them or tries to make, you know, a big deal out of it, like, you know, they turned their back and all that kind of jazz, who cares? Don't care about the haters. Just
Yeah.
like focus on them. I mean, seriously.
I was just a little disappointed when I heard they were going to step away, because I love the fact that Megan was, you know, like she was really like breaking a lot of stereotypes. You know, her,
Rules.
well, yeah, because her being American, her being biracial, you know, that whole thing of like, and then ending up marrying into the royal family and being a royal. I like that, because it was like, but you're right. They had to do what was best for them, and I don't think they were completely happy. So more power to them. I think it's great, and they're gonna do
Yeah.
they're gonna do a lot. I mean, they've already done a lot. So
Yeah, they have. And actually that, since we're talking about California, I'm gonna double back to a different topic and then move forward to the next one. And we're getting close to the bewitching hour. It's 6:40. So
ooh,
it's already 6:40. I can't believe it, but it is. So in California, they just opened up the very first tiny home property for homeless people.
okay.
I don't know if you heard about it. Did you hear about it?
No, I didn't. I think that's great. What?
They just opened it up.
How does it work?
Okay, so I'm kind of torn because I'm happy with certain parts of it, and then I'm kind of mad.
Mhm.
Like, it kind of looks like a prison camp, to be honest with you. It's like, oh, good God, chain link fence with barbed wire, and they have to
Oh my
check in.
God.
I mean, seriously, it looks like a prison camp, but they made these little teeny tiny homes that are basically just beds that are clean, that are lockable, that have air conditioning, that have heat. They're supplying food. They have like a shower area, but it's like they all have to go to the same shower area, kind of like when you go to jail. You know what I mean? And they all eat in the same area, like when you're in jail. I know what that's like. I've been there before. And then they just festively painted all of each of these little buildings, which I think it's great that they started this movement. But I think that it needs to expand in a different way, personally.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Because I mean, I like the idea that they're, you know, that they want them to be safe. There's like no alcohol on premises.
But they're certainly on yours.
That's for sure. 4 times a day. But all joking aside, they scan them with like a metal detector. They can't have any drugs on them. They have like a drug dog that sniffs at them. And then they no alcohol, which, I mean, in a lot of cases, some of the people who are or become homeless, it might be because of one of those things that they have a problem with, which I think that part is good. But I don't like the idea of homeless people on the street because you don't know what anyone's situation is.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of them all being grouped into one area and like corralled into what looks like a pretty prison. Like the intention is good because they get free meals, they get a place to stay. But looking at like the tour of the place, I mean, it's basically a prison with separate cells is what it looked like to me.
I wouldn't even call that a home.
No, I know.
The purpose of a home is where you'd have like your space where you have your own bathroom, your own kitchen. That's like a home.
A home.
But
Right.
But the way they have it set up, it's a facility. It's like a home
Yes.
shelter, just more elaborate. The thing is when they say home, I don't know. I don't think okay, so I would have liked it better if these little units had small kitchenettes and
Yes.
and a bathroom. And then you could call it a home. Now, I don't mind the fact that they do the sniffing of the to make sure these people that live there are not on drugs and they're quote unquote behaving. So that part's okay. But I just don't like the fact that they have to go eat in a mess hall, for lack of a better phrase, and go to the same bathroom area. No, that's like a prison. That's a facility, not really a prison. I would say that's more like a more elaborate homeless shelter. More elaborate homeless.
Yeah, I agree. I want you to watch the video, because you can Google it and see. You can Google it and watch the video yourself and watch it, because once you see it, I think you're going to have the same stumbling blocks that I just expressed.
Mhm.
I'd rather, like, once I make enough money and buy the house, I'd like to be able to do something on a smaller version of what we have for two people. Like, it doesn't need to be a 2-bedroom, it can be a 1-bedroom. But I like the idea of them having a laundry room and a kitchen and a little tiny piece of a yard. It doesn't have to be big, just like a little space.
Mhm.
I think then that would motivate them, and it would be temporary. The person would know that it would be temporary. It might be a 5-year thing. They get to be there for free for 5 years, and then after that, you're done.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of what, I mean, I like the idea of what they're doing because it's never been done before, so that's good. Like, that's never been done anywhere. And maybe when people talk about this, like what we're doing, maybe other cities can do something similar, but improve upon it. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, call it a homeless shelter. Call it what it is. Don't call it apple or orange, because that's what it is. I mean, the fact that I guess they're not on cots in one room, they have separate units. Maybe that's why they're calling it a home, but I don't think so. I think, I knew someone down here. They stayed in a place kind of like similar to that, but it was like own separate apartments where each unit, they were small. The units were small, but every unit had its own bathroom and its own little kitchenette. And that to me is more of what you can call a home. It's a small home, but it's a home because you have your kitchen and you have your bathroom. The washing facility, that's, I mean, to me, you can go to the laundromat, but that kitchen and that bathroom to me is like, that's the key.
No, it is. I mean, it makes perfect sense, and it doesn't have to be big. I mean, it's just like it as long as it's a functioning kitchen with the basics, that's all that's necessary. As long as it's a functioning bathroom, that's all that's necessary. But to make someone have to get out of their tiny home and walk to a spot where they have to all take a shower and go to the bathroom, or that's a facility, or walk into the little courtyard area where they all have umbrellas over tables where they get their free food. That's not a kitchen. There's no choice. There's no options.
Yeah.
Like, you got to talk to other people, otherwise that's messed up. And then from my perspective, when you have people that went through something bad and then all those people are huddled in the same area, people commiserate about their misery and they don't have motivation to fix anything. Instead, they cycle right back to the problem because everyone's talking about their problems.
Yes.
It's better for that person to be able to have their own space to decompress and figure out really, truly what they want and need in their life to make progress. But I did want to say kudos to Los Angeles, California, for starting this journey and creating something that had never been done before. I think it's great that you guys did that, but I think that you need to tweak the program a little bit, and maybe the next city who does it, maybe they can use that as like a model, but improve upon it. Hopefully we can have one down here in Florida, in South Florida. I think that would be great. Like convert one of these old apartment buildings into a homeless shelter, that not a shelter, but a homeless apartment building, and have everything there on site, but then they have their own individuality. A person's not going to make progress if everything is given to them.
That's true.
Because they have no motivation to. They have no motivation to make progress. So they're just gonna keep going right back and asking for help. Which I'm not saying it's bad to ask for help. Everybody needs help. I've needed help many times in my life. And thank God I've gotten help whenever I've needed it. And I'm grateful for that when it happens. But by the same time, sometimes I think knowing that I have the motivation to fix my own problems first. If I can't fix the problem and I try the second time or a third time or a fourth time, then I'm like, oh shit, I guess I'm gonna have to get some damn help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to understand your limitations and ask for help when it's absolutely necessary. But I don't see how the people that are going to be there are going to actually have any motivation, because they're all around each other, and I don't see how that's going to help. It's the first step in the right direction. So I hope that somebody down here in the Fort Lauderdale area who might be listening to the show, or this show might get forwarded to you from somebody else. I think it would be great to work on something similar with similar aspects, but to try to tweak it and fix it so that it's better. Ironically, to segue from that, I have two other topics, but I'm only gonna go on to the next one because it's 6:50, honey. So ironically, and it kind of correlates with this story. I can't remember the name of the city right now, and you can probably Google it, but 7 acres that were vacant in this city in the United States, they turned into a garden for people to walk up to and take food. 7 acres.
Really?
Yes. You can just walk up, you're hungry, grab a banana. You walk up, you're hungry, grab an orange. You walk up, you're hungry, grab some peas.
That's beautiful.
Now,
beautiful.
That's on the right path, I think. Something like that is good. Something like that is good, I think. Yeah. Like something like that is better, because the person who needs help doesn't need to ask anybody. They can just go there and they can just get what they want.
Yeah. And
for the most part, people who are homeless or hungry or food impoverished, or whatever the correct word is, I apologize for not knowing, food insecure, they don't take more than is necessary. Mm-hmm. They only take what they absolutely need. So I'm going to have to Google it while you respond to that question, so I can say the name of the city so we can give them props. But I think that would be a nice thing also as well.
Yeah.
If someone would do that down here. So people could maintain, the area, plant things. People could come pick tomatoes, oranges, whatever. I think that's a really good nurturing thing that people is helpful.
Well, it's funny because when I would go to Trinidad, growing up, you'd hear that like, well, people don't really have to starve, because back then, I don't know how it is now, but back then, you're hungry, you go, you pick a mango, you pick a banana, like, in other words, like, you might not be having the foods you really want, but there's fruit there for you to eat, to nourish you. So I think that's a wonderful concept, where people can just come up and, like you said, take what they want. It's like a community garden, a community garden. I remember when I was in high school in Philadelphia, we did a community garden. It wasn't a humongous one because it was in the inner city. But it really was nice. There's something about a garden, even parks, like, my therapist, Tim O'Connor, was telling me about the number of parks that are here in Fort Lauderdale. There are so many parks. He says, I forgot the number he told me, but you know what it is? They plop them, the city plops them like in neighborhoods, and sometimes they're really tiny parks. But, I find when I walk through a park or when I walk through a garden, there's a peace and a solace that comes with being in that environment. And I think it's just healthy. And then on top of it, to be able to have fruit to pick from, that's really great.
It's actually the city of Atlanta that did it.
Okay.
It's Atlanta. The city of Atlanta. This is actually a story from 2019, but it just popped up into my news feed. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it was a brand new story. So I think it was basically just trying to remind people about it. But the city of Atlanta turned a former food desert into a food forest.
Wow.
There was nothing there, a vacant plot, and it provides its citizens with free organic nuts, veggies, fruits, mushrooms, and herbs. So kudos to the city of Atlanta. Y'all doing stuff real good. I'm kind of concerned because Atlanta got really cold over the last couple of days. What happened to that food garden forest? I mean, we've been having some brutal weather over the last couple, not us, but everybody else. It makes me wonder. I'm sure they probably planned for it, right?
Yeah.
They had a plan for it. Well, it's almost 7:00. It's almost the bewitching hour. So I shouldn't say bewitching hour, but it's almost the end of the show. I want to thank everybody who's watched, who's going to watch the show, and remind people, if you're interested in advertising on the show, don't forget to email advertise@mysouthernexposure.site. If you're interested for working with us, I should say, if you are interested in working with us, you can work remotely, safely from home, and do it on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, your desktop, laptop, smart TV, whatever. You can work for us, I should say with us. You can work with us and sell advertising also as well, all across the entire United States and around the world. So you don't have to be around people if you are one of those people like me who's afraid to be around people. That's an option for you. And basically, that is pretty much it. So I want to say thank you very much, Raji Narayan Singh, for another great episode. And I'm going to leave it to you for your to bid adieu.
Okay, to bid adieu. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in again to another edition of Southern Exposure, my Southern Exposure, to be exact. And I want to wish everyone a great week. Check out some of those shows on Netflix. They have some excellent shows, movies, miniseries. I should be the spokesperson for next Netflix. We should be getting a paid sponsorship, right? But no, really some good stuff on there. So take time out. I have to do that sometimes because I'm involved with so much and like my mind is all over the place. And sometimes I just have to stop and be still and just take some time out. So try and take a little time out for yourself this week. And on that note, I want to wish everyone love, happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, and many wonderful blessings. On that note, namaste. Bye.
Namaste.